Welcome to A New Earth, Awakening to Your Life's Purpose, a worldwide web event.
You are not separate from that. It's the egoic mind that says, my life. The moment you say my life, you've already separated yourself from life. It's a thought. You have a thought to say, this is my life, and then you think, oh, I can lose my life. I am not separate from life because I am life. It's only through the structure of language that you create the illusion of separation.
Mm-hmm. I see
the
that.
The dog still knows on a primordial level, the animal, the tree knows that it is one with life. So it doesn't have this fear of death, and it doesn't see itself as separate from the rest of the universe.
So let me ask you the big question. You have no fear of death?
No, no. The ego has dissolved, and so only the ego fears death. I know there is no death.
You know there is no death. Mm-hmm. Okay, tell me how.
I have a little thing at the end of this chapter.
I know, you say the incontrovertible proof of immortality. I read that and I went, okay, well, I read that.
I've done a little thing I did there. Usually when people talk about immortality, they use certain arguments, perhaps from physics. They say the energy is destroyed. Energy can only become transformed.
That's right, transformed.
So the vital energy that is your life, because energy cannot be destroyed, must survive in some form. That's often the argument for the survival of that life. There is no death, only the form dissolves.
That's right.
That's one way you can approach it. But
right.
What I thought I'll do, I'll look at the structure of this sentence of language that says, my life, or I have a life. Because most people believe that they have a life. Mm-hmm. And they also believe that they can lose their life. Now, if you look at that sentence and say, I can lose my life, then I am separate from life.
So there is no such thing as my life, you say at the end of this chapter, page 128.
Because I am life. I am not separate from life. I am an expression of the one life, a temporary expression in this form of the one timeless and formless life. So I don't have a life because I am life, expressing itself as this form.
Okay, so what happens when you 2 weeks ago talked about your mother and father lying in the casket, and you realized that the life force or formlessness of that they were lying in the casket and there were these bodies, but they were not there.
Yes.
They were not there. So we're not our bodies. We do know that.
Yes.
Everybody who's reading this book knows we're not our bodies. We do get that.
Yes. And that's once you can actually sense that, it's not just a belief. You can also see that you're not your body, even if you just approach it logically and see that when there's a dead body, then that being is not there anymore. There's only the flesh and the bones.
Right.
And when the being isn't there anymore, the flesh and the bones very quickly dissolve. When the animating presence isn't there anymore, all the atoms and molecules separate and go their own way.
Right.
Because the animating presence is not there anymore.
Okay, so continuing here, so there's no such thing as my life, and I don't have a life. I am life. I and life are one. It cannot be otherwise. So how could I lose my life? How can I lose something that I don't have in the first place? How can I lose something that I am? It is impossible. So what is happening here is, I just got it, hello, 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 bing, 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 bing. I got it. We are confusing the I am life force with our bodies.
Yes, yes.
We're confusing that.
Yes, that's right, that's right.
So when this dies and becomes the shell and dissipates and the atoms go wherever they go, back into the ground, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, we are confusing that which is the physical form, the human. We're confusing that with the being.
Yes, that's right.
And they are separate.
Yes. So another way, if you don't like the word life, you can say the universe. People believe that I am here and there's the rest of the universe. And they believe I have come into this universe. They don't know from where.
Yeah.
I've come into this universe. It would be more appropriate to feel that you have come out of this universe because you are this universe experiencing itself very briefly.
As a human.
As a human.
As a human. I got that.
And so it wants to do that.
Ooh, I got that. I got that. I got that.
It's wonderful when you realize there's more to you than a person. You are the universe
expressing itself.
Yes, and experiencing
as a human.
As a human, and
called Eckhart.
Yes, for a little while.
For a little while.
And then it goes through other experiences.
And then where do we go, Eckhart? Could you tell us that?
Well, let's see what happens. When it happens. Otherwise, you take the fun out of it. You have to. I mean, if you knew the rest of your life, already the fun would be taken out of it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Well, before we say goodbye, I know there's lots we did not get to in this chapter. We could have spent, 2 or 3 weeks on this one chapter. But what would you say is the essence of this chapter?
The essence of this chapter
is... the role-playing chapter. What I said in the beginning, that we're humans and beings, and in this body trying to live through the two.
Yes, it's balancing the human and the being so that you can function in this world of form where you have to do things and fulfill your function. At the same time, not lose yourself in that, be rooted in the depth of being so that you're not lost in form. So there's a depth to you and a rootedness in that stillness, that aliveness, and then from there you function out here. And there's always then a peace in the background.
A peace in the background.
No matter what's happening out there.
And most particularly, not to be attached to, defined by the roles that we play in life and realize what they are. Just roles.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And relinquish the role when it's not required anymore. When your children grow up, you don't need to be a mother or father. You don't need to play that role anymore.
See, so many people think that that is who they are. And so when their children grow up, they don't know who they are anymore.
Yes. It can be a crisis. Or people retire. And
that's right.
They had identified.
And they were their job.
Yes. And then, who am I?
Yeah, you were talking about in Japan, where it used to be you kept your job for life.
Yes.
And you were sharing with us the last time about a man who committed suicide.
Well, there's been many cases of people in Japan who lost their jobs and committed suicide because they were so identified. Their company was their sense of self.
Well, fascinating. I want to thank all of you around the world for making this, this is really a remarkable experience, for making it possible. Eckhart and I will be here again next Monday at 8 p.m. Tell all your friends, share the book with them. If they say, I don't get it, that's okay.
Yes.
That's really okay. That's okay. They'll have the book and maybe pick it up a year from now, 2 years from now, 10 years from now. This 4th class will be available on demand starting tomorrow, just like all the other classes, for free here at Oprah.com. And if you want to download a podcast of any of our classes, you can also do that tomorrow at Oprah.com and at iTunes. Your homework assignment for this week is to update your workbook. Next week, it's the chapter many of you have been waiting for, Chapter 5, The Pain Body. The pain body. If you feel burdened by your past, begin to learn how to lighten that load. That's going to be really very exciting. Now, many of you have been asking about our new Earth theme music. The song is called We Are One Earth, and it was produced by Harpo Sounds, our in-house music label. Beginning tomorrow, it will be available as a free download on iTunes and Oprah.com. So enjoy it, those of you who've asked us for us. This was fun.
Great fun.
This was fun. And so let's just wait to see what happens. Let's just wait to see what happens. Thank you so much. See you in class next week. Bye, everybody.